Hi, hello everyone. I wish a good day to all the viewers. So, on behalf of Vijayawada branch of SARC of ICA, we are going to plan a monthly GST bulletin. All the changes in CGST Act, rules, circulars, notifications, and orders issued by CBIC, everything we are going to release by way of a bulletin monthly. And we are also going to do a video on the changes, all the changes which have been incurred during the month by way of issuing notifications and circulars by CBIC will be discussed in the form of video like this. So I thank Vijayawada branch for giving me this opportunity to present this monthly GST bulletin. So here in today's session, what we are going to do is the first thing I am going to present it to you. So here in GST Act and rules and circulars and notifications, all the changes from 1st April 2020 to 13th July 2020. So during this COVID-19 situation, there were many changes which were occurred in GST Act. There are many extensions. So all those topics we are going to discuss in today's session. Many were confused how much interest is required to be paid on belated filing of 3B. There are various notifications issued. So what is the final notification? How much interest we are required to pay? How much late fee is the maximum extent which is to be limited? So all the changes in GST we are going to discuss monthly like this manner. And today we are going to discuss up to July. Like this, every month we are going to do a video on the changes in GST Act, notification circulars, and if there are any landmark judgments also, we are going to have a discussion like this by way of conducting sessions. Okay. So now GST bulletin number 1 from 1st April 2020 onwards, 13th July 2020, the changes that were occurred in GST Act, we are going to have a discussion. So this is the today's index we are going to discuss. Amendments to CGST rules and the CGST notifications issued, notification 30 to notification 59. Around 29 notifications were being issued by CBIC. And CBIT has issued an order for removal of certain difficulties. There is an order which is being issued in order to revoke the cancellation of registration. Earlier registrations which were cancelled due to some reasons. What are those reasons? We will discuss in today's session. How to revoke those registration. That's what the process we are going to discuss. And there are 7 circulars which are released by CBEC from this 1st April onwards. These 7 circulars are meant to bring the clarity in the provisions of GST Act. So such clarifications also we are going to discuss. And next up, amendments to CGST rules. So CGST rules have been amended to some extent. For that 5 notifications were being issued, 30, 38, 48, 50 and 58. So notification numbers need not be remembered. What we require is what is the change that was incurred, how it is useful in our practice. That's what the things which we are going to discuss. So initially, what are the changes in GST due to this COVID-19 situation? Changes means nothing but extensions. That's what the thing first we are going to have a focus here. So first one, there are 10 extensions, sir. I have presented by way of a tabular manner. There are 10 extensions here. So these 10 extensions, first we are going to have a discussion. So this material has been given by way of attachment in description box also. You can go through it. Okay. So now beginning with the point number 1, GST RFD 01, generally refund applications. There are many forms of refund. There are 10 types of refunds as per the GST Act. Generally, if we have made excess payment of tax, by mistake we have paid in 3B higher tax, but correct details were being disclosed in GST R1. In this case, we have an option to reduce tax in next month. If in this month you have paid higher tax, in next month you can adjust it. You can reduce and pay the taxes. No sir, we should not disturb further months. The month which we have paid excess tax, we need a refund. Yes, you can take such refund by way of making application in RFD1 when we have excess payment of taxes, and in case of inverted duty structure, that means generally in case of Chappals manufacturing, this concept has been incurred. On raw material they might have higher tax rate around 18% or 12% like that, but on sale they have only 5% of tax rate. That means on raw material there is higher tax rate, but on output there is a lower tax rate. In this case, every month credit ledger will be higher. There is a much amount of accumulated credit balance in your input tax credit ledger. Whether that refund can be claimed? Yes, by way of filing GST RFD1 we can claim refund. Sir, what is the time limit? Generally 2 years from relevant date. It depends upon each concept. In case of exports, if we are going to claim refund within 2 years from the date of export. In case of inverted duty structure, within 2 years from the end of the relevant year. That means 18-19, let me take that as example. For 18-19 financial year, if you want any refund, 18-19 year, from the end of the year, from the due date, if you refer 2 years from relevant date, actually 31st March 2019, 31st March 2019 year end. From there onwards, within 2 years from relevant date, within 2 years from relevant date is the theme which has been used here. Let me take April 2018 as example. April 2018 means what is the due date of filing? April 2018 month return, May 20, 2018. From there onwards, within 2 years we need to claim refund. So here the 2 years concept has been framed for different situations. Maximum within 2 years from relevant date we need to ask for refund. But if such 2 years is going to get completed by this 31st March itself, but from March 22nd onwards we are facing COVID-19 lockdown situation. For that purpose, if your refund application falls due between 20th March 2020 to 29th June 2020, if your refund application due date is between these 2 dates, that means your 2 years period comes within these 2 dates. In such a case, the extension has been given up to 31st August 2020. Up to this 31st August, the time limit has been extended. So due to COVID-19 situation, certain relaxations in time limit have been given in GST Act. So this is the first point, GST RFD 01. Okay. Now coming to the second aspect, GST RFD 06 refund order. GST RFD 06 refund order. Actually, after we are going to make an application, we are going to get acknowledgement in GST RFD 2. From that acknowledgement date, within 60 days, department is required to sanction as refund. If they do not sanction refund, from 61st day onwards, they will give us interest. Okay. So within how many days department is required to give refund? Within 60 days from the date of getting acknowledgement in RFD 2. So that 60 days, if it falls between these 2 dates, that means this extension is for department, not for SSCs. This point number 1 extension is for SSC. They can make refund application on or before 31st August 2020. Okay. And this RFD 6 is from department point of view. So department, if their refund order due date is between 20th March to 29th June, they can sanction such refund on or before this 30th June is the thing which has been given. And recently it has been extended up to 31st August 2020. That means both from SSC point of view and also from department point of view, to sanction order up to 31st August extension has been given. Am I clear? Right. Next, coming to the next change, CMP 02 composition scheme. If we want to change from regular to composition scheme, we have to make application before commencement of the year itself. Sir, from composition to regular we can enter at any point of time. Today also I can convert from composition to regular, but regular to composition we have to change from the beginning of the year only. In the middle of the year we cannot get changed from regular to composition. Okay, so here what the thing that was specified here is actually by 31st March 2020 itself we should make application for composition scheme. It may be goods composition scheme or service composition scheme, whatever may be, we have to make application before 31st March 2020. But such date have been extended up to 31st August. That means even today also I can make conversion into composition scheme. Actually by 31st March itself I should have applied. Even though I have not applied by 31st March, today also I have a chance to get conversion into composition scheme. Okay, this is CMP2. And next, ITC03. After converting into composition scheme, the ITC on the stock has to be reversed. Not entire ITC. ITC with respect to the stock has to be reversed by way of filing this ITC03. This ITC03 should be required to be filed within 60 days from the date of opting composition scheme. But due to COVID situation, if you have converted into composition scheme, that extension has been given to file this ITC03. Sir, if today I am opting, I will get 60 days time. Okay. But if I have opted before 31st March, if I have opted for composition scheme before 31st March only, 60 days will expire by May. But not up to May. We are giving you chance up to 31st July. Whoever have not filed their ITC03 at their ITC03, who have not filed, they can file by this 31st July is the extension given to ITC03 who are opting for composition scheme. You have option to come for composition scheme up to this date. If today I am going to apply, from today onwards within 60 days I have to file ITC03. But the persons who have already applied for composition scheme, we have time up to 31st July to apply for such, that means you file such ITC03. Okay. Next, this is very important aspect, sir, which is useful for all the chartered accountants. Provisional ITC. Actually, from January onwards, maximum 10% only we can claim in extra. GSTR 2A. If in 2A, ITC balance is, for example, IGST 1 lakh, but as per books of accounts, ITC balance is 1.5 lakhs. Whether in GSTR 3B, 1.5 lakhs can be claimed? No. Maximum 10% extra only we can claim. That means 1,10,000 could only be claimed. Even though in our books of account it is 1.5 lakhs, we should not claim 1.5 lakhs. Only 1,10,000 is required to be claimed. Because what the department has specified to us is rule number 36 of rule 4. Provisional ITC. How much provisional amount is possible? Earlier from October to December they have given 20% provisional ITC. But from January onwards they have reduced it to 10% provisional ITC. Sir, when we will get displayed invoice in GSTR 2A? Whenever the supplier uploads GSTR 1. But GSTR 1 has been extended due to COVID-19 situation. Up to August month they have extended this GSTR 1, which we are going to discuss in further topic. These are the GSTR 1. Even June month GSTR 1 has been extended up to 5th August 2020. The persons who are filing monthly GSTR 1, March return have been extended up to 10th July. April return has been extended up to 24th July. May return has been extended up to 28th July. Sir, these extensions, since I have given attachment in description box, you can download it. Okay. So next, the quarterly filings also, January to March they have extended up to 17th July. April to June they have extended up to 3rd August. That means in 2A we cannot get display of the invoices uploaded by the supplier. So what we are going to do is we are going to lose the credit. So for that purpose, what the department has decided here is, since there is an extension of GSTR 1 to be filed by the suppliers, the ITC to be claimed also has been postponed. That means provisional ITC we can claim to any extent, even though the invoice is now not being displayed in GSTR 2A also. Even though the invoice has not been displayed in GSTR 2A, now we can claim it as ITC. But to how much extent? By September month by September month. In September, which month return we are going to file? August month return, we are going to file it in September. So from February 2020 to August 2020, these are the things which have been presented here. Since these due dates have been extended, maximum by September we have to check this cumulative concept. Earlier, monthly we are going to compare this 2A and also books of accounts. Maximum how much we can claim provisional ITC? 10%. But now this provisional concept need not be checked monthly. Entire GSTR 2A, sir, in which month we need to check? In September month, the month in which we are going to file August 3B. August 3B we are going to file it in September. In that September month, you need to check GSTR 2A from February to August 2020. GSTR 2A. And books of accounts also from February to August 2020. So maximum, if this 2A is around 5 lakhs, in books of account if it is around 6 lakhs, then how much in 3B we have claimed? In 3B we might have claimed the 6 lakhs, but 6 lakhs is not the correct one which we can claim. 5 lakhs plus 10%, that means 5.5 lakhs is only the maximum amount which we can claim here. Difference 50,000 has to be reversed in next month. Later if it is uploaded, we can reclaim it. So this is the process which is to be followed. Cumulatively, generally monthly we need to check this 3B versus 2A, I mean books of accounts versus 2A. Monthly we need to check whether it has been uploaded or not. But now it has been changed to yearly concept. So not yearly, from February to August we need to check cumulatively. The term that was used here is cumulative application. If you refer this term, cumulative application has been specified in this case. Okay. So by October 11th, because in the tax period of September also they have been considered here. So initially for the months of February to August they have specified. This February to August result we are going to give it in September month. That September month return GSTR 1 we are going to get uploaded by October 11th. That's why here October 11th has been specified here. So September month effect we are going to give in October 11th. But here the thing which you need to remember here is from February to August we have to check on cumulative basis. But generally many people were not checking 2A. Directly they are going to claim as per books of accounts. But since rule number 36 sub rule 4 is the rule which is to be followed, it's suggestible to follow such rule. Maximum excess of 10% is only provisional ITC which has been eligible. Okay. So next one, GSTR 3B. GSTR 3B, there were extensions in filing this GSTR 3B. So what are those extensions which were given? So generally we need to file by 20 or 22nd based upon the turnover. Government has given different due dates for filing GSTR 3B. Okay. Now what are those extensions? And interest, many were confused how much interest we are required to be paid. That's what we are going to have a discussion. So up to 5 crores if we are going to have turnover during the last year, that means during the previous year 1920, during the previous year 1920, if your turnover is up to 5 crores, in such a case May month return you can file by 12th September 2020. For turnover up to 5 crores, June month return due date is 23rd September. So July month due date is 27th September. August month due date is 1st October. These due dates were initially extended by notification, but these due dates which I am discussing here is the latest updated due dates I have given here, because various notifications were given for extension. Keeping all those into mind, the latest one I am making a discussion here. And when the turnover is greater than 5 crores, so due date for May and June, sir, for May month it will be 24th June, and for June, July and August, so generally by next month 20th we are going to file them. By next month 20th only we are going to file them. Sir, what happens if there is a delay? The next question is, what happens if there is a delay? Interest is liable to be paid. for all the months below this May month also they have given due date up to 24th June. For all the months before this, what they have specified here is if your turnover is up to 5 crores, by above due dates if you are filing, your interest will be nil. And if you are going to file it by 30th September, then it will be nil. And after such dates, interest will be at the rate 9%. And when if you are going to file after 30th September, then up to the above due date nil, up to September you are liable to pay only 9% interest. Even though you are filing belatedly, up to September only 9%, and after September it will be 18%. So this is the interest when the turnover is up to 5 crores. And next one, if the turnover has exceeded 5 crores, in such a case, for first 15 days delay there is no interest at all. And for up to 26/2020, initially April month return, May month return have given extension up to 24th June. By 24th June, if you are not going to file, you are going to levy interest at the rate 9%. For first 15 days, nil. After that, interest at the rate 9%. After 24th June, if you are going to file, up to 24th June 9%. After 26th June, 18% will be levied. This interest system will not calculate automatically. We have to calculate on our own, and we have to pay such interest through our cash ledger. So this is the amendment regarding GSTR 3B. And regarding GSTR 1, we have already discussed. And recent, just day before yesterday itself, we have received this notification 59/2020 regarding composition scheme. Regarding the composition scheme, GSTR 4 is required to be filed annually. Actually now quarterly we are filing CMP 8. Along with that, annually you are liable to file GSTR 4. Department has specified that 30th April is the initial date, but since form has not been released, they have extended up to 15th July. Still now also form has not been released, so they have extended this up to 31st August 2020. As of now, GSTR 4 has been extended up to 31st August 2020. And GSTR 9 and 9C, initially they have specified 31st March, later they have extended up to 30th June, and due to COVID situation they have extended up to 30th September. More extensions also is expected, but as of now speaking, so GSTR 9 and 9C of financial 18-19 due date is 30th September 2020 relating to financial 18-19. And who is required to be filed mandatorily is when turnover exceeds 5 crores, mandatory filing. When turnover exceeds 2 crores, 9 is mandatory, 9C is optional. 2 to 5 crores between, 9 is mandatory, 9C is optional. Below 2 crores, both 9 and 9C were optional only. Okay. Next, any other form. Sir, whatever may be the other form, if you are liable to file between these dates, whoever have due dates between 20th March to 29th June, it may be regarding appeal, reply, application, whatever may be, everything has been postponed up to 31st August 2020. Initially this notification 35 has given time up to 30th June. Later this notification 35 has been amended by way of notification 55. In this notification 55, they have given extension up to 31st August. They have given extension up to 31st August. So all the forms which were required to be filed except this GST returns. GST returns, a separate due dates were being given, which I have explained above. All other forms have been extended up to 31st August 2020. So next, coming to the other changes in GST. So there are 8 more changes which have been incurred now. Very simple changes. Number 1, method of authentication. Earlier for companies, only through digital signature only we are required to file GST returns. But now for companies, returns were being accepted by way of GSTR 1 and 3B. So for companies up to 30th September 2020, they can file 1 and 3B through EBC also. Filing of GSTR 9 and 9C should be made only by way of digital signature. But here for companies, what they have specified here is up to September they can file 1 and 3B through EBC. A simple option has been given. And nil returns can now be filed through SMS. Nil returns can now be filed through SMS facility. So nil filing of form GSTR 3B through SMS, here is the procedure which have been given. So I have shared this in description box. This entire material is available. You can go through this procedure through SMS. Through EBC also you can file, but rather than that, government has given a simple facility to file through SMS. You can go through this attachment for the procedure. And next, coming to composition scheme, section 10 subsection 2A has been inserted. Earlier, through notification 2/2019 we would decide this, but now this is being decided by a separate section called section 10 subsection 2A. So let me completely explain the difference between these two provisions. Earlier, composition scheme section 10 would exist for manufacturer who pays 1% of total turnover. Even manufacturer have exempted goods also, he is liable to pay 1% on the total turnover. Even hotels and restaurants also 5% on their total turnover. But traders 1% on their taxable turnover. That means on exempted goods, trader need not pay 1% under composition scheme. Only on taxable turnover, the trader is required to pay composition scheme GST at the rate 1%. So this is section 10. The aggregate turnover during the last year should not exceed 1.5 crores. Then up to 1.5 crores you can opt this composition scheme. Sir, here number 1 and number 3, manufacturers and traders on the goods turnover they are going to pay 1% GST. Whether any service income is permissible, yes, service turnover is also permissible, but maximum to the extent of 10% of turnover or 5 lakhs, whichever is higher. But on this service income also you are liable to pay 1% GST only, 0.5% GST. On service income, many might think that we are liable to pay 6% GST. No. If the traders and manufacturers are opting composition scheme under section 10, on service turnover, they are liable to pay 1% GST only. But such service turnover should not exceed 10% of turnover or 5 lakhs, whichever is higher. Okay. So this was regarding section 10, and the service turnover should be within this 1.5 crores only. And coming to second part, section 10 subsection 2A. Earlier this is been introduced by way of notification 2/2019. Now that notification is converted into section. For SSEs having turnover up to 50 lakhs, you might have goods, services, whatever may be. Generally this has been introduced keeping services into the mind. What they have specified here is, in case of services, 6% composition scheme has been specified. You should not collect tax from the customer. You have to pay on your own 6% of turnover. You are liable to pay GST on your own. This has been specified in section 10 subsection 2A. The aggregate turnover during last year should not exceed 50 lakhs. Then up to 50 lakhs you can opt 6%. Sir, here for example, goods turnover is 20 lakhs and service turnover is 25 lakhs. Total comes to 45 lakhs. This 45 lakhs into 6% you are liable to pay. In section 10, there is a service turnover limit of 10% or 5 lakhs, whichever is higher. But here in this section 10 subsection 2A, any supply other than section 10 except these three, any other supply, it may be goods or service, whatever may be, up to 50 lakhs you are liable to pay 6%. This is the another scheme which has been introduced. In this section 10, maximum service income should not exceed this amount. But that condition do not exist in section 10 subsection 2A. In section 10 subsection 2A, you might have goods turnover or service turnover, whatever may be. But total should not exceed 50 lakhs. Then up to 50 lakhs, you are liable to pay 6%. Whether you opt this scheme or whether you opt this scheme, whatever may be, you are liable to pay CMP 08 only. In that CMP 08, the tax rate, how much we are going to select based upon the discussion I have made as of now. So 10 subsection 2A, earlier it's a notification, but now it's a section. In that section, what they have specified is up to 50 lakhs of turnover, you might have goods or services, whatever may be, you are liable to pay 6%. Here the limit is 50 lakhs, but here the limit is 1.5 crores. This is the major difference between these two. Okay. And next, amendment number 4, payment to directors, reverse charge mechanism. Some advanced ruling decision is given that on payment to directors, you are liable to pay tax under RCM. Even though you pay salary also, you should pay under RCM. Even though they are covered under Provident Fund also, you are liable to pay RCM on director's remuneration. But such ruling is not valid, because whenever director is the employee of the company, salary paid to employee is covered in negative list. How you can say that the company is liable to pay under reverse charge mechanism? Since there are various contradictory judgments, rulings given by advanced ruling authority, so a circular has been given by department to clarify this provision. Based on Income Tax Act, they have decided if company is going to pay salary, in such a case, no GST. And where TDS has been deducted under section 192 on payment to directors, if TDS has been deducted under section 192, in such a case no GST. And if TDS has been deducted under section 194J, then GST is chargeable under RCM, where company pays the tax. Whether such RCM tax paid can be claimed as ITC. If you have complete taxable turnover, you can avail ITC. If company has exempted turnover also, then proportionate ITC comes into existence. So finally, what I am going to specify to you is, under RCM, if company, it may deal with taxable goods or exempted goods, whatever may be, a company, if it pays director's remuneration, it is liable to pay tax under reverse charge mechanism, where tax is deducted under section 194J. But where tax is deducted under section 192, then the concept of reverse charge mechanism, chargeability itself is not applicable. Then what is the need of RCM? So very simple aspect, sir. You need to check the section. Earlier also we could interpret the same thing, but since various contradictory advanced rulings were being released, here we got a situation to decide this issue. So finally, the conclusion that I am going to give you here is, yes, only under 194J, if TDS has been deducted, you are liable to pay under RCM. This is the conclusion. Am I clear? So next one. Yeah. So this is another clarification given by way of issuance of circular. They have given this another clarification. Two special cases were being presented here, sir. Let me go through special case number 1. An advance is received by a supplier for a service contract, but subsequently it is cancelled. The supplier has issued invoice before the supply and paid the GST. So in this case, the clarification given by department is, sir, initially we received an advance. It may be good or service, whatever may be, we received advance, and on such advance amount also we have paid GST to department, or we have not paid GST to department, whatever may be the circumstance. On goods advances we are not liable to pay GST, but on service advances we are liable to pay GST. On service advances we are liable to pay GST. So what I am going to specify to you is, in service cases, if you have received advance and you have paid GST and later such service is cancelled, you have two options. If you are going to return the money back to the customer, you can either issue credit note under GST or refund voucher. Whatever may be the case, your tax will get reduced. Or you have another option to claim refund in RFD 01. Excess payment of tax column. We have various reasons for applying RFD 1, like inverted duty structure, exports. In that, now you need to select RFD 01. Excess payment of taxes. That column, if you select, based on that you can claim refund. If on advance amount, if you have paid any GST and that advance is returned to the customer, then in such case you can either issue credit note and reduce taxes in further months, or you can issue refund voucher and reduce taxes in further months, or you can claim refund in RFD 01. So that means issuance of credit note or refund voucher is the first option, or claiming refund is the second option. In refund, we should claim refund under excess payment of tax column in this case. So this is the first aspect. Now coming to second aspect, the goods supplied by a cover of a tax invoice are returned by the recipient. So the next thing which was being discussed here is if it was returned by the recipient. That means goods have been sold and they were returned back. On goods returned also, what the thing we need to do is issue credit note. We need to issue credit note. This is the first thing. But here arises a special situation where the sale amount is 0, but sales return is 50,000. Sale amount is 0. If there is a sale of 1 lakh, out of that we can reduce sales returns tax amount. But sale amount is 0, the sales return is higher. Now what we do? Whether in 3B negative values they will accept? No. Then what should we do in this situation? We have to wait up to next month. In next month we have to reduce this sales return amount. Next month if we have sales. If we do not have sales, another option given here is application in RFD 01 form. In RFD 01 form, we can make application and claim it as refund. In GSTR 1, you upload the sales return point and you claim that amount as refund by way of application in RFD 01. So what it has been decided here is point number 2. If goods are supplied by a supplier under the cover of the tax invoice and it was returned by the recipient, and whenever the sales return amount is higher than the sale amount, in such a case you have to use this situation. So here you need to issue a credit note. You have to issue a credit note, first condition. That credit note you can reduce it if you have sale amount. If you don't have any sale amount in this month, in such a case you might issue credit note or refund voucher and you have to claim refund in RFD 01 is the thing which has been described here. And next one is maximum late fee. The late fee has been reduced now. Nil returns, no late fee, and other cases maximum late fee from 1st July 2017 onwards. Retrospective effect has been given here. From 1st July 2017 onwards, maximum late fee is restricted to 500 rupees. Okay. So next thing, introduction of PMT 09. Let me show you this PMT 09 in online so that we can understand in an easy manner. After login into GST portal, here we have services column, returns, ledgers, electronic cash ledger. You need to go for electronic cash ledger. In that electronic cash ledger, here you have a point called file PMT 09 for transfer of amount. If you are going to go to this PMT 09, if we have any cash ledger balance, we can transfer from any major head to minor head to major head. Let me take an example. From IGST tax to, actually now balance is not available. If balance is available, here it will display. From here to we are going to transfer to CGST. You can transfer from tax amount to penalty, tax to interest, or interest to tax. Everything is possible now. Earlier, if I have paid late fee in penalty column, it is not eligible for set off. But now we can change from penalty column to fee column. How we can change? Using this PMT 09 form. Save and then we can go for OTP. Very simple process, sir. In electronic cash ledger, you have to go to electronic cash ledger. In that ledger, you will have an option called file PMT 9. Based on that, we can proceed this one. Okay. So which is very useful. PMT 9 has been introduced now. And next one, revocation of cancellation of registration. It has been issued by way of CBIC order. This is not a notification. Order for the purpose of relaxing the provisions whoever have not filed their returns from the past 6 months, department is going to voluntarily cancel those registrations. Department is going to voluntarily cancel those registrations. That cancelled registrations, now you can get revocation of cancellation of registration. That registration, now you can get it back. How we can get back such registrations? Such registrations, sir, you have to approach your jurisdictional officer for the purpose of revocation. If you have your login ID and password, then you can get it under this services column, registration column. Okay, in this registration column you have application for cancellation. If you have login, here you will get displayed application for revocation of cancellation of registration. Here a new item will come to you, application for revocation of cancellation of registration. That one, if you are going to press, you can make application for revocation. That means the cancelled registration, you will get it back. Sir, if you do not have this login ID and password, in such a case, what you are required to do? In such a case, the thing you are required to do is you approach your jurisdiction office and request them to revoke back your registration. Once you get your registration back, then what we can do is the pending returns, now we can file. All the pending taxes also we are liable to be paid. If your registration is cancelled due to non-filing of returns from the past 6 months and composition scheme non-filing of last 2 quarters, now you can get back your registration by way of application. Once you apply, you can get back your registration. Okay, so up to 31st August you have this time. So whoever in 2018, if my registration is cancelled by department, sir, if I have applied for cancellation, now you cannot get it back. If department has cancelled your registration, you can revoke back your registration. You can revoke back by way of making application like this. Once you can apply like this, you can get back your cancelled registration. You have time up to 31st August. Generally within 30 days only we can revoke, but it has been extended up to this 31st August. From 31st August to we have 30 days, whichever is later has been specified here. But the thing you need to remember here is all the pending returns should be filed now, along with maximum late fee of 500, along with the payments with interest amount also we are liable to pay now. We can get back the registration, and you are liable to pay all the pending taxes along with interest and late fee also. If you are ready for that, then you can apply for revocation of cancellation of registration. For government benefit only, this option has been introduced. So like this, all the amendments which have been introduced, amendments, notifications, circulars, everything we are referring from CBIC website only. So like this, we are going to release this bulletin type concept every month. The changes which are being incurred in GST Act, circulars, notifications, we are going to give you continuous statutory updates on monthly basis like this. So by this, we are going to conclude this session. So thank you very much.